welcome to our Spotlight series. And today, a very warm welcome to a very good friend, and if I'm right in saying, the Insurance Leader of the Year, Janthana. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Matt. Thank you for the warm welcome.
Congratulations on the award. So Women in Finance 2021. So this was this week or last week? It was recent.
It was this week. It was recent, yes, on Wednesday.
Wonderful. I hope you had a good night.
Yes, I did. Thank you.
Good. Janthana, so we've known each other for a long time, years, and I've loved seeing Tapoly grow from strength to strength over those years. But for those who don't know about you and don't know about Tapoly, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and maybe your career behind Tapoly? Because I think that's before Tapoly, so I think that's a particularly interesting one.
Sure. I'm an ex-internal audit director. My last job, I was at UBS, and before that, I was at Deutsche Bank, and before Deutsche Bank, I was at JP Morgan. So I spent most of my career in investment banking industry. In about 2016, I discovered an issue with the whole, kind of buying insurance online, and I felt so strongly about it because the experience that I got from trying to buy insurance that doesn't exist at the time was very, it really resonate with you, like when you feel that something could be done better.
Sure.
So I set up Tapoly to solve that problem for the whole gig economy.
Amazing. And tell us more about Tapoly today.
Yes. Tapoly today, we are technology provider for the insurance industry. That's first and foremost. But in the UK, we are also an MGA, which means that we've got our own product line that we sell both direct to consumer and also on a wholesale basis through brokers.
Okay. And over the so since we met, so I think we met in Vegas, and goodness knows, I feel like COVID has stopped time, and it's years ago. 3 years ago, maybe. Tell me, how has your business evolved over those years, and maybe even particularly over this kind of crazy digitization transformation period that we saw as a kind of an accelerant due to COVID. How has Tapoly performed over these last few years?
I must say that we were very lucky, because when we first started, we were pretty much in the bull market, but I think the market had hardened ever since. In the last 2 years, ever since COVID, we've seen some of the capacity provider pulling out of certain market. Certainly, there's limitation in terms of the capacity that are out there for some product lines. For insurance intermediary like Tapoly, it's harder for us to get new market or new products for certain market, for example, as well as we've seen, some product line, the commission rate has reduced slightly. So we make less money. At the same time, from the customer side, there's certainly, a higher customizations level that we need, because customers are doing multiple activities. Many freelancers, for example, doing multiple jobs during COVID. You do what you have to do to survive. You see businesses adopting hybrid model. So we've seen risk that not being captured by traditional insurance policy. Certainly. So on-demand insurance as a concept, which, we were one of the first people to introduce it in the UK, were very relevant today, because you no longer can standardize the insurance product, because customer will have varying risk profile, as we know, and their risk will change throughout the year. It's not a constant.
And do you think incumbents have recognized that trend as well? Because I couldn't agree with you more. It's kind of the world has changed in so many different ways, and that sort of, whether it's micro insurance or it's on demand, and the two neatly connect. Have you recognized? So you've sensed the trend, and there is a consumer demand for that trend. Have you recognized kind of the industry waking up to that requirement as well?
The recognition is there. The awareness, knowledge is there, but I think we are in the hot market, and that means that insurers, most of them would stay with their core business. Core business is the business that they make money with. Outline of business where you offer on-demand micro insurances, the profit margin are much lower, and you need much higher volumes, and it doesn't take a lot for the total loss ratio to be on a like over 100 mark. So it's extremely hard to be serving the micro businesses and freelancers market.
How do you get that scale? How do you get that distribution?
I think from scalability, there's kind of nearly threefold. One is the technology. So you have to have technology that would enable your entire process to be automated end to end to reduce that cost of admin. The second part is, of course, the actual product itself. It has to be pretty good. It has to be something that the insured need. Otherwise, they won't buy it. And the third part, the price has to be quite competitive, and we have to have kind of flexible cover. Otherwise, we're going to end up having a lot of midterm adjustment, which is going to increase the number of hours that we have to review all those policies. So that is basically the kind of the key. And of course, to get the distributions, all I can say is that if you go for retail-facing distribution channel, you should raise much more money. And that's something that I didn't realize when I first started. I did know how much, like things should cost. But when you are in it, the cost that we thought that we're going to be spending in order to get customer through the door is significantly higher than what we expected. So obviously we, kind of in a very competitive space, commercial liability insurance cover, we going to have to spend a lot more. I'm talking about millions and millions in order to get the level of tractions that you, it would, before you can break even. And that's why, we kind of shift our focus from being retail facing. We're now doing wholesale, and our wholesale is going to be the key in the coming years, because we are now building the collaboration platforms. And the reason why we are focusing on this is because it's needed. For start, there are so many insurance intermediaries, smaller brokers, for example, that are looking for alternatives, a wholesaler platform, to get new product line, to get better service, without having to pay money upfront and good commission, hopefully. So we wanted to kind of build a collaboration platform with other insurance intermediaries, and including MGA, because MGA would play a like important role in this hard market, because essentially MGA hold the key to that capacity and new product that smaller broker may not be able to access, directly via big insurance company. So they can rely on MGA. And I love working with other MGA. Funny enough, even if you think they have exactly the same product, but you may not be in competitions because of your market segment that you focus on. Some people may sell professional indemnity, but for, like tech industry, but other may do it for engineering or accounting, finance. And each one of those sector, you basically have a limit in terms of who you can sell to. But a combined Mark 8, what we need is a few players in even the same space that could offer multiple insurance or same insurance through multiple industries, and that's what we need. So collaboration is key. Are
those ecosystems coming together? Because lots of people talk, so lots of the clients that we work with, they talk about in a few years before, it was, we need to find a startup or scale up that can solve a problem, but the maturity around their kind of innovation function and their work recognizes that often they need an ecosystem of of partners, and it sounds exactly the same as what you're talking about. Actually, the collective power is greater than the sum of the parts. And are you building? So earlier this year, I saw you partnered with Peach Pie to offer insurance to micro SMEs, which I thought was superbly interesting, and that's kind of operating in the health and well-being space. And I'd love to, first of all, I'd love to know more about that collaboration. There are others, so please do share those. But are you finding that you're partnering with or kind of working amongst the same faces again and again? And are those ecosystems building for you?
I think, there's certainly a newcomer. Peach Pie is a classic example. This is Tapoly's project, one of the first projects that they launched for MGA. Certainly, outside the industry, which is pharmaceutical, they already expert in the pharmaceutical industry, but now they extend their product to cover the allies healthcare professions, which we are, quite grateful for. The cover itself, made up of multiple products. And I think we are one of very few companies in the UK that would offer employer liability for as part of the package, and also sell online direct to customer.
Mm-hmm. Okay, super interesting. Are there any other collaborations that we should know about that you've been up to, which are of interest?
Yes, we are launching our platform with Ascot a couple of months ago. So, we offer a professional indemnity product online as a standalone product across different industries. So if anyone just need professional indemnity, just please do visit our website. Otherwise, we are currently building a reinsurance platform for emerging market, which is very exciting for me. Obviously, this is the first time we work with reinsurance company, but we learn awful lot.
I'm sure.
I'm so excited. I mean, everything just seemed to be so fast moving in other space.
Are you able to share more on that? And feel free to say no.
Actually, we. I think in a couple of months I can certainly share more. For now, we are in the process of kind of building. The demo is coming along really well.
Sure.
I think when we launch the product in that region with our reinsurance company, that's when we can probably announce it more publicly.
I look forward to hearing more about that, Janthana. And last question from me. So tell me, what does the future hold for Tapoly? So we've known each other for 3 years. Business has been around, doing great, getting stronger and stronger year on year. What does the future look like?
Well, we're going to be, spend. Or before we can spend, we are raising fund as like any kind of company would do. And in this market, we are raising money and we're trying to close the round. So we are hoping to close round either by the end of the year or the latest Q1 next year. Mm-hmm. And we are expanding our teams, not only in the UK, but we also going to cover emerging market. We're going to have a team, in other time zone. Mm-hmm. And we will, of course, bring in other technology apart from AI, which, I have a great interest in developing our AI technology further. But blockchain, I start looking into blockchain and how that could be incorporated into Tapoly. So this is very exciting, kind of area for me. And I'm a big fan of cryptocurrencies. So, yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of conversations that we're having with clients. It's amazing the amount of time that we spent in Asia. Where, in fact, I was talking with somebody about it with somebody in the Middle East just this morning. How blockchain as a technology is just very commonplace and standard almost in kind of new development in the Asian market, particularly within the insurtech space. And yet there's still a stigma attached to anything referencing blockchain within the European market, and that's not true for all, and it's certainly changing. But we published the InsurTech 100 just yesterday or recently, and the number one company, Zhong'an, there's not only are there millions of policies sold, because of the enormity of the scale of the market that they have in front of them, but everything's based off blockchain. And it's almost kind of just like an aside, but yeah, I think it's a really interesting technology which all of our clients are very interested in understanding better, because we've been a little bit late to the party in the European market. So I think that is exciting for Tapoly, and I'd be very keen to learn more when you get there. Janthana, for today, thank you very much for your time. It's a pleasure to catch up with you. It feels a little bit formal. We're normally having like a drink and a good time at an event, is normally when we see one another. But it's lovely to say hello. Thank you. Thank you again. Congratulations on the success of Tapoly. And I wish you a very good day, whatever that has in store for you. So thank you again.
Thank you very much, Matt, for having me.